welcome in everyone to the Big Game Pregame Show, O'Colly TV's official Oklahoma State football pregame show. I'm your host, Alyssa Brandon, and I'm here joined by my friend Andrew Dunham. How are we doing today, Andy?
I'm doing fantastic, Alyssa. It feels like it's been an eternity since we've been back on this set. It feels like it's been an eternity since Oklahoma State's played a football game, especially at Boone Pickens Stadium. First time since August 28th, and I think we're ready to close out the non-conference, right?
Absolutely. It's been 13 days, and I think everyone's been itching to just see the Cowboys back there after that loss that we had. And now we're coming in today with two teams, one 1-1, one 1-2. How excited, how important is it for both of these teams to have a get-right game?
Dare I say must win for both teams. Tulsa, brand new head coach trying to form a new identity, and Oklahoma State, well, brand new coaching staff, new roster, still trying to figure some things out, and they're trying to shake off that 69-3 abomination in Eugene.
Absolutely, yeah. We're of course going to get into Oregon a little bit later. We don't want to dwell on it too much, but a lot of the issue there was with the defense, right?
Absolutely, and we'll get a deeper dive into that Oregon game, and we'll also have some expert analysis from our man Gabrielle, who's also in studio. But first, some expert insight from you, Alyssa. Made a very own package for
I do what I can.
Some two impact players, especially in the linebacking core, Brian McCoy Jr. and also Brandon Rawls. She has some more insight on that right here.
In a new era of linebackers, Oklahoma State is relying on two transfers. Brian McCoy, senior out of Akron University, and Brandon Rawls, redshirt senior out of Saginaw Valley State. Head coach Mike Gundy named both as leaders ahead of Tulsa, but says McCoy is more of the perfectionist type.
Because everything matters to him, like everything, all the time. He wants it to be perfect all the time. He wants to do good so bad. And, we've all been around people like that. You're like, dude, chill. Well, he's that way all the time, and that's why he, performs at a pretty high level.
Through two games, McCoy is tied for 5th in the nation in tackles per game, averaging 11.5. His teammates are taking notice, and for McCoy, it's about leading them in the right direction.
They hearken to my voice, and I feel like it's a responsibility that I have to take up and be like, okay, I'm going to lead us in the right direction. I'm going to make sure things get done, the right things get done, plays get made, that everybody's lined up, and that's just what it takes. You know what I mean? I don't see it as like a bad thing or anything like that. I think me and Brandon, we work very good together, and we get everybody in the right spot so we can play ball, honestly.
On the other side, Brandon Rawls is also racking up tackles, averaging 9.5 per game. Both being vocal leaders, it took only a second for Rawls and McCoy to gel.
Well, at first it's like having two alpha males in the room, so we had to figure out how each other works, work around each other's learning styles. But then from there, it's just when we're on the field, we're just full go. We know that we're going to hold on our spot. The front four in front of us is going to hold on there, and the back end is going to do their job.
This linebacker duo will line up side by side once again in both of their first matchups against Tulsa. Reporting from Stillwater, Alyssa Brandon, O'Colly TV.
Two of the top leading tacklers for Oklahoma State on defense for Todd Grantham's team. And by the way, great job on that package, by the way. That was awesome. That was great.
I jump in there when I can.
Absolutely. Well, Alyssa, we're going to do a transition. We're going to kind of do some rapid fire here with the game day headlines. First off, Mike Gundy, 7-0 against the Tulsa Golden Hurricane, who are coming into Stillwater. And, of course, this is the 78th version of the Gateway Turnpike Classic, 45-27 series record between the two teams. And Alyssa, starting with quarterback Zane Flores, he's already appeared in 2 games, but hard to believe, this is going to be his first start at Boone Pickens Stadium in his career.
Absolutely, yeah. This is a huge game for Zane Flores. He needs to absolutely be given the right schemes and everything from his coaching staff to just be able to settle in there, get a feel for what Boone Pickens Stadium feels like, and he just needs the chance to throw a couple of completions. He just couldn't get into a rhythm at Oregon. Understandably so, but this is the game for him to prove what he's got.
Finally, last but not least, some unexpected news. OSU adds former FCS quarterback from North Alabama, Noah Walters. This was announced on Wednesday, and I can say I don't think this is anything we've ever seen. A quarterback enrolls at Oklahoma State, and he's already suited up and can play. Welcome to college football in 2025, right?
No, absolutely. This came out of left field for me. I wasn't expecting to have another quarterback there, especially a guy that didn't even play football last year. So, I think it's a good depth piece for them, and maybe we're going to see him on the field this year.
It also means Haas Haney, the injury that he sustained in the season opener against UT Martin, seems like he may have a little longer road than expected. And it's really smart to kind of go out and add a guy like that with experience, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think that was a smart move by the coaching staff. And in that quarterback room, you have 2 walk-ons, 2 true freshmen. I don't know how much we can rely on them, so I appreciate them bringing in another guy. Well, we hit all of the game day headlines for you. We, of course, have more coming up for you. We're going to get into a lot of Oklahoma State, a lot of Tulsa, but on the other side, we're going to recap some Oregon football from 2 weeks ago. We'll see you after the break.
Thank you for coming to Stay and Play Pet Resort. This is where we can board your pet at any time for your convenience and make them feel at home. We have 5 different kennels for your pet. We have luxury suites that come with TV, camera, fireplace. The webcam is at your free. We have Kitty City where you can board your cat for multiple different prices. Stay and Play Pet Resort offers a free chauffeur service. If you go to Baker Animal Clinic, you can drop your pet off anywhere between 7:30 a.m. and no later than 8 a.m. Stay and Play Pet Resort offers a game day sports package. For $37, you can drop your dog off during the game day as early as 7:30 in the morning. Policy states you do not have to pick up your pet up until 1 hour after the game. At Stay and Play Pet Resort, we thrive to treat your best and give them the best at-home feeling.
My name's Kayla. I've been here since the beginning, so 4 years. Scratch is more focused on farm and mostly made in Oklahoma products, keeping it local. Sustainability is our biggest thing. That's one of the reasons why this place opened.
I've been the chef here at Scratch for 2.5 years. Started here as a line cook. Our food and drinks are a bit separate entities almost inside the restaurant. So the food is now up to 85% of the products we bring in are raised or grown locally. It's all based off of things that I grew up eating in southern Oklahoma, the things my grandparents ate.
Fresh food, clean food, organic food, sustainability, that's all of our thing. From front of house to back of house, we're able to maintain both with freshness. But made in Oklahoma means we get it straight from the farms that are 20, 30 minutes, another little county away. We get it straight from them.
Welcome back into the Big Game pregame show. I'm Alyssa Brandon here with Andrew Dunham. Now, we said we wanted to talk a little bit of Oklahoma State from the last 13 days. A rough outing, 69-3 loss, worst loss in Gundy era. Andy, what does that loss say about this team, and does it even speak volumes, even though that they were just playing a top 5 team in the nation?
Yeah, well, I want everyone to understand that this is a good football team up in Eugene, Oregon. Dan Lanning is a heck of a coach. I think he's one of the top tier head coaches in the league. He knows how to build a roster. Talk about resources that Oregon has. Of course they have that. And this was just a mismatch. I mean, on and off the field, we talk about resources. Oregon has one of the top tier really resources in Nike. They can build a roster, and that's what you got to do. Unfortunately, in college football, you got to spend money. But as far as keeping it on the field, 69-3, as you can see, OSU was outgained 631-211. Not an ideal start really for Zane Flores, going 7 of 19, 67 yards, 2 interceptions. But I mean, it was really from the get-go, it didn't look great for the Cowboys.
They just really never had a chance.
Two plays, 65 yards on their first drive, took them 40 seconds. And if you want some more stats, and I'd advise to put the children to bed if you want to listen to this. First 3 plays, 2 touchdowns. And at halftime, Oregon had 6 touchdowns. Oklahoma State only had 5 first downs.
Yeah.
So
when I saw that stat, that jumped out to me because it's just the mismatch was insane. The fact that these are 2 FBS teams, and Oklahoma State was a program that competed amongst the Oregons. I mean, 2 or 3 years ago, we were getting ranked in the top 10 in the AP poll, and now we're in the bottom 25 of CBS Sports. I mean, it was a little bit more uglier than I thought, but it's just interesting to see how we've kind of taken a step back when we used to be able to compete with programs like that.
We also kind of heard or ignited some conversations about what's it going to look like for Mike Gundy, and you kind of have to think, we mentioned in the opening, this is kind of a must-win for Oklahoma State, especially how are you going to respond after a loss like this, one of the worst losses in history. I believe it was the worst loss since 1907. Oklahoma wasn't even a state yet, Alyssa, when that happened. So
I mean, we should get some history knocked out first before we talk about football losses.
Absolutely.
But talking about that, if you're the coach, if you're Mike Gundy, how do you tell your team to respond?
Well, it was just 1 week, unfortunately. Well, fortunately. And if you're a half-glass full type of person, you can look at it in perspective. This is still a young team. They had only played one game together, and you have to travel to Eugene. And it was just, the best thing about football is they also had a bye week to recoup. They've been bitten by the injury bug a little bit. We'll talk about that later. But just put it into perspective, it was just 1 week. It's against a really good football team. It's kind of a place you want to be at towards the future, making next steps. And unfortunately with this team, we're just going to have to be patient.
Absolutely. Well, we heard what Andy had to say about that. That was really good insight. Let's hear what Mike Gundy had to say after that Oregon loss.
I told the team that I didn't do a good job of getting our players put in a position, and we were too complicated in all three phases. Tried to do too much on defense, tried to do too much on offense, and we ended up not being able to execute and being good at anything. I don't fault them for what they were doing. Oregon's a very, very good football team, and they were trying to find ways to maneuver to get stops and trying to find ways to maneuver and move the football. And we ended up not being very good at anything. We didn't execute. Then they hit the early scores on you, and you're playing catch up to a certain extent, which doesn't help. But I've got to do a better job. I should have went in there last weekend and said, look, guys, here's the deal, okay? We've got to be very, very, very simple. And we got to be able to go out and execute and be in the right spot, and we got to tackle, and we got to be able to rush the ball and use some play action.
It's a beautiful day here in Stillwater for some tailgating. I'm joined by this lovely family on Parents Weekends. Ava, introduce yourself to the family and tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Okay, well, I'm Ava. I'm a student here at OSU. This is my dad, Preston, my mom, Ashley. This is my childhood best friend, Kennedy, her mom, Jamie, and her dad, Josh.
Awesome, I love it. And then we were talking a little bit before this. There's some family history here. The OSU roots run deep.
Yes.
These two were roommates, guys. What was that like?
We had a good time, yes.
Great time. We had a great time, a lot of fun memories. Go Pokes.
How much has OSU changed from when you were a student to now your daughter being a student here? Have you noticed some differences?
I think there's new buildings, obviously there's new people, but for the most part OSU is still the OSU that I was familiar with, which is it just seems like it's regular people, and it's just a great environment.
Thank you guys so much. We're going to let you guys head on over to the game. Don't go anywhere. We're headed back to the studio to Alyssa.
Thanks so much for that, Addison. Great job as always. And we're going to hit a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to focus on the Tulsa Golden Hurricane right after this on the Big Game pregame show.
I'm Travis Taylor. I'm the general manager for the Hotel Indigo Tulsa Downtown. I have a real good understanding of the food scene in Tulsa, and I've loved to see the way it's evolved over the years, and I'm glad to be part of it.
My name's Kevin Kyle. I'm the executive chef. I started here, the idea was to do something local. Everything that we try to do has Oklahoma products.
Tulsa is a big oil boom when we were the oil capital in the early 1900s. How Route 66 put Tulsa on the map. And the menu around that was, well, what would an oil worker take out in their lunchbox? That's how Prospect kind of came from.
We never get crazy busy, so we can do a lot of different things with food. And we can do things like wine dinners and have local dinners. We have a private dining room that people can come.
I think being at the heart of the old Route 66 has kind of weighed into us getting a lot of different things brought in from different areas of the United States. When I taste something on our menu for the first time, the first thing I go is, that's Tulsa.
Pecans are staple to Oklahoma. In fact, many of our native pecans come from trees that are older than Oklahoma statehood.
My father's the one that got us started into the pecan picking. I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and we started off with one little mechanical picker that you pulled behind a four-wheeler. Then we'd go home at night and we'd clean them on a TV tray. I guess watching my dad work hard when we were young, and people started trusting him and getting more and more groves, we just kept growing.
Being a relatively new and fresh company, we get to sit in the same room with people who have been a part of the Oklahoma economy for decades.
It's opened a lot of doors. It's gave us quite a bit of exposure, and I think people, will take a small company like us a little more serious. We're just going to continue growing as long as our community lets us and our customers keep on buying, and we'll see where it takes us.
Welcome back into the Big Game pregame show. Andrew Dunham, Melissa Brandon getting you set for tonight's matchup between the Oklahoma State Cowboys and the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. And as we mentioned, as we headed into the break, we will turn our heads to the Tulsa Golden Hurricane, who, Alyssa, are led by Trey Lamb, 36 years old.
Yep, just had a birthday.
Just had a birthday earlier this week on Tuesday. 36 years young, fourth youngest head coach in Division I history. And like we mentioned with Oklahoma State, this is going to be a process. And as you can see, Tulsa not off to the greatest start this year.
No, I mean, that's similar to some of Oklahoma State's struggles. And obviously this has kind of been a trend for Tulsa in the past, but they have a little bit of a quarterback problem right now. They're going to have to play Baylor Hayes, who, I mean, honestly had a few flashes in that game versus Navy. I mean, Navy's a tough opponent, and he had a passing touchdown, he had a rushing touchdown, so this will be his second game starting this week, but also Zane Flores' second game, so that's an interesting nugget there. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what this offense for Tulsa can also dial up, considering they have a few transfers as well, kind of similar to Oklahoma State.
Absolutely, and what Trey Lamb did, a lot like what Coach Meacham did with Haas Haney, he brings in Baylor Hayes from East Tennessee, and really they weren't expecting Baylor Hayes to be starting this early. Obviously, Kurt Francis has a concussion issue. He will miss his second game. It was announced actually before we went on air that he will miss this game due to the concussion, but it's going to be interesting, especially with kind of that camaraderie that Trey Lamb has brought to his team, and it's going to be interesting to see on both sides.
Absolutely.
And we will hear from Tulsa head coach Trey Lamb right here.
And Mike Gundy just finds a way to win games, and really look up to him as a mentor in our industry. And, after we play, I'd love to pick his brain and learn from him. I think he does a phenomenal job, and they got a whole new staff and a whole new team, and they're kind of finding their way out right now, a lot like we are. What's our identity? How do we get the ball down the field? Who's the best playmaker to throw it to? Defensively, do we have the right corners on the field? Do we have the right nickel package? They're going through a lot of the same conversations we are.
Interesting perspective from Trey Lamb, who has got thrown into this rivalry. Well, we heard from Trey Lamb. Let's hear from Mike Gundy on his thoughts on the Golden Hurricane.
Well, they played better last week, in my opinion. Than they've improved. They have the other quarterback that's playing now, and it looks like to me he's more comfortable, and they've gotten better. They played, and I thought they played. I don't want to speak for them, but I thought they played their best game last week. And they've continued to improve, and they're young. They know they've got new guys and such. They're kind of working through some of the same issues a lot of schools are.
Well, we heard from Gundy there. Now we wanted to talk a little bit about how both of these teams are going to match up against each other. Andy, what is one matchup you're looking at today for the Golden Hurricane versus the Cowboys?
I'm looking at the linebackers for Tulsa, Ray Coney, who is also a transfer like Baylor Hayes, came from East Tennessee State. And I'm also looking at Caleb Hicks for Oklahoma State. Now, it's going to be interesting on both sides. I think we're going to see a running game here. I know Gabrielle, well, by the way, welcome into the set again.
Welcome in. So sorry, Gabrielle.
You're going to give us some great analysis later in the show, but I think it's going to be important for the Tulsa linebackers to meet the Oklahoma State running backs at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a physical matchup, and you're going to need ice baths and ibuprofen after this game, I think, for both teams, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we got some heavy hitters on both sides of the ball, and speaking of the defense, the matchup I'm kind of looking at is on the defensive back side. Tulsa has a guy, cornerback Elijah Green, who was played for them last year, but in this last game against Navy, he intercepted the ball 2 times in the first quarter, guys. That's huge for them. He led the team in interceptions last year. How is Zane Flores going to be able to avoid that type of sticky coverage? I mean, I really hope for Flores' sake we don't see him throw an interception out there, but I don't know. Green is a pretty good back. What about you, Gabrielle?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good analysis you have of the defense. I think what I like to go for more is kind of like a player-on-player comparison. Starting off with Dominic Richardson. He's a senior, 24 years old. He is coming in with experience. He is a leader in this Tulsa offense. I mean, as Trey Lamb said, he is the bell cow for this offense. He runs it, and he's averaged over 19 carries and 98 yards a game, and that's what I want Caleb Hicks to be at in this game. I want Meacham to, introduce that running game more. give him more of those reps that he needs to be having. But we expect a big running game, so
absolutely
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a little bit of the battle of the running backs. And other news, me and Andy got a chance this week to sit down with a guy from Tulsa who had a lot of insight on Oklahoma State football and both Tulsa football. We'll get to that interview right after this break.
My wife lived east of here, about 35, 40 miles, something like that, over at Lamont. I was dating her from over at Alva when we were going to college. I knew about the well then. It was a great well. It was great water. I'd stop there, stick my head under it, wake up, drive on home, that kind of thing. And people talked about bottling this water. And so that's why I started thinking about doing that. And so in 2003, the property come up for sale. And so we started working on that and had the opportunity to buy it. The hopes are when folks drink our water is that they'll drink it for a few days and find out the difference. They'll start feeling better because there's been no chemical in our water. There's a list of good things that we have. We don't have any bad things in it. This company means a lot to me because I guess we started it from scratch. And to be able to have it where it's at today, I don't see this as the end at all. I see the future of Divine Water as being worldwide, which will bring outside dollars into the state. It means a lot to me because I started it, I guess, and our family started it.
My name's Dennis Abernathy. Lived here since 1968, and I consider myself one of Stillwater's oldest original family jewelers. Here at Dennis the Jeweler, we're more about personal service. My father always told me that anybody can sell the jewelry, and what we're doing is completely different, learning to do the repair work. That is one thing that will keep your business alive, because anybody can sell it, but not anybody can fix it. To me, jewelry is very, very personal. Every piece of jewelry has its own story, and I get to hear hundreds of stories from my clients, which I love to hear. There's always a story with it. I mean, you buy a piece of jewelry for a show of appreciation, a sign of love. There are a lot of different aspects for jewelry when you purchase it.
Welcome back in, guys, to the Big Game pregame show. I'm Melissa Brandon here with Andrew Dunham. Now, earlier on the week, we got to sit down with our friend TJ Eckert. He had a lot of great insight to show us about both sides of the ball, considering he's covered both for a long time. Let's see what he had to say. Welcome into another interview segment here for the Big Game. I'm Alyssa Brandon, and I'm here with my co-host, Andrew Dunham. And we get to be joined by a very special guest today, a guy who's been in Tulsa broadcasting, been in Tulsa sports, been covering the game for a while. It's TJ Eckert. Thanks for being with us, TJ.
What's going on, guys? Appreciate you having me.
Thank you so much for joining us, TJ.
Fired up.
Yeah. No, we're excited to have you. And
This is a cool game. This is a cool game for you, right? Turnpike Classic. In-state schools. I know Oklahoma went to the SEC, so we don't really get OU, OSU anymore. But still to have Tulsa and Oklahoma is pretty cool, right?
It is, and it's a big deal for Tulsa. It's normally their biggest game of the year. And when it's at TU, it is their biggest game of the year. It's normally a sellout, and so the opportunity for them to just kind of go up the road and play in Stillwater is a really big deal, especially for a lot of local kids on this team that maybe didn't get recruited by Oklahoma State out of high school. Now they're getting kind of show them what they're made of in a way.
Yeah. And it's interesting, the pipeline, like there seems to be a little bit of a connection between Oklahoma State, Tulsa. I mean, they're running back now, Dominic Richardson, that was with Oklahoma State. Mm-hmm. It's cool to see those guys kind of making a name for themselves at Tulsa. You think he's going to be a big impact player for this game?
Probably has to be if they're going to have any chance. And I think another one that would be nice for at least TU to see get going is Braylon Presley, who's another Oklahoma State guy. And Trey Lamb, the new head coach there at TU, has tried to do a better job of getting him more involved in the offense. Maybe not to the extent that he's wanted to yet, but I think he's a guy that could have a big impact too. It'd also be big if Kirk Francis, the quarterback, ends up playing. He missed last week's game with a concussion, so we'll see if he ends up playing tonight.
TJ, you mentioned Trey Lamb. I'm glad you did. I think he's an intriguing coach, especially in Division I. He actually just turned 36 years old, 36 young, I should say. He's the fourth youngest head coach. To you, what's kind of been the general consensus of him so far here at Tulsa? What's been the community feedback like on him? Like
he's the right type of hire for where the school's at right now. He's trying to get out in the community. He's trying to be more involved with people, with donors. He's a big golfer, so he's been playing a lot of golf with the TU donors. He is the type of energy they needed. After getting rid of Kevin Wilson, kind of an older, more established coach, this was the route I think they needed to go with where the program's at right now. And player feedback's been really high on him too. Players seem to really like him, enjoy playing for him. The staff is young and energetic too. So I don't know if the results will come necessarily in year one, but I think this is the right type of hire if you're TU for where you want to take this program.
100%. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how long it kind of takes for him to develop into that coach that maybe stay there for a while. But over on the other side of the ball for Oklahoma State, they have a lot of new going on too. We have Zane Flores at quarterback. Now, I know you used to be a quarterback at UCO, so I kind of wanted to ask you, what can Oklahoma State do, specifically their coaching staff, to kind of put Zane Flores in the best position possible for him to succeed, this being his first game starting at home?
Yeah, it takes a lot, right? It's the old saying is doing your 1/11th, and that means 1 of 11 people on the field have to do their job, and the other 10 guys so 11 of 11 have to do their job to be successful. The quarterback tends to get the criticism and the praise, but it takes everybody. So the run game has to get going. They were behind the chains a lot, specifically against Oregon, which is understandable. So you got to run the ball better. You got to get your wideouts involved a little bit more too. I think that, this is a very broad answer. But it's easy completions for your quarterback by having your receivers playing well, and then it's getting the run game going too, because Caleb Hicks is your leading rusher, and he's just barely over 100 yards, right? Like you would expect that to be a little bit better through 2 games. I understand why it's not, but getting the run game going is going to help a young quarterback, especially a guy like Zane Flores, who you mentioned at making his first start at home.
I'm glad you mentioned Caleb Hicks because he's going to be one of my impact players for this game, but TJ, Oklahoma State has 5 running backs that you could play at one time. Obviously, You can't play all 5 at once, but Mike Gundy had mentioned in his press conference on Monday that he wants to simplify the offense. He felt like it was, what did he say?
Overcomplicated.
Overcomplicated. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Alyssa. He said the game plan against Oregon was overcomplicated, so what he wants to do is simplify it, and I think that would just be giving the ball to your running backs, short, complete passes, like you were saying.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically, to me, Trey Lamb has mentioned this too with his offense. He actually mentioned in his press conference that what they want to do at TU is similar to what Mike Gundy's talking about wanting to do with Oklahoma State, is find your best 3 formations, find your best 3 run plays, find your 3 best passing concepts, and get really good at those. And don't worry so much about the quantity of stuff you're trying to do, but more about the quality of the stuff you're doing, right? And so I think that's kind of what Mike Gundy was hitting at this week, simplifying, right? Like let's be good at outside zone, inside zone, and 1 counter play. Like that's it. Let's just run those 3 plays really well out of a few different formations, and then let our guys go play. And I think that happens a lot with these teams. Is it's paralysis by analysis, right? You're trying to do so many things well that you don't do anything well, and so simplifying things makes a lot of sense, really, on both sides.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see how that paralysis analysis will play out today. Hopefully we don't get too paralyzed on either side.
Those are big words for me. I don't know if I can keep up with y'all.
No, I thought that was good. That you really nailed the
That's the quarterback in him right there.
Every once in a while I say some good things.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, TJ, for just giving us a little bit of insight. We really appreciate you having you on.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you guys. Thanks, Alyssa. Thanks, Andy. Appreciate you guys.
Of course.
Deep Fork Foods started in 2014. We started off with our nut products, and now we produce everything from jarred products to cookie mixes and pancake mixes and dried products for people, as well as our spice blends. Now we produce over 168 different products for ourselves and about 20 to 30 other companies in Oklahoma.
I'm Cindy Stewart. I'm one of the owners of Deep Fork Foods. We've gone from just making our own stuff and doing just small things to being able to co-pack and work with other companies and individuals within Oklahoma and across the United States as well.
I'm just really thankful for the journey that we've had so far and really look forward to the future where we're taking Deep Fork Foods and being able to provide more value for Oklahoma and its economy, as well as all the people within the state.
I love the opportunities that being in a food business provides. I absolutely love sharing food and good stories with people, so this just gives us another connection. And I can't wait to see where this path takes us with it.
We would design something, it was set on the counter, and people was either, if enough of them said, this isn't it never made to the line. Dad was excited that they're all original. They were all designed on Mom's kitchen table. and it gets in your blood after a while.
We're very happy that Pamela and Michael have taken over the business and kept the family going.
We took the business over in 2017. When we found that it was available, we wanted to keep the legacy of family alive, but it was also incredible products that deserved to be a part of Made in Oklahoma's story. We were a part of Made in Oklahoma years ago, and so it kind of grew as Made in Oklahoma grew.
Oklahoma is ingrained into everything that we did. We've been here most of our life. That's what we entailed our whole business on, was the Oklahoma homegrown feeling.
Welcome back into the Big Game pregame show. Well, we really appreciated having that conversation with TJ Eckert. Shout out to him. Another guy we really appreciate is our very own analyst, Gabriel Morez. He is over in the Sports Corner with each team's keys to the game. What do you got, Gabriel?
Thank you, Alyssa and Andrew. And it's time to get into the OSU's keys to the game. Starting off at number 1, rushing game. Hey, it's simple. Navy had over 360 yards in rushing against Tulsa. I mean, if Meacham needs to learn something from their scheme, you have to give Caleb Hicks the opportunity to lead us to victory in this game. I mean, most of the points were unanswered, 42 points. They were mostly out of outside runs and options. We have to find a way to get that incorporated to the scheme in order to find success. But the second most important thing in this list, we got to get the Zane train moving. Without Zane Flores, rushing game is a no-go. I mean, you have to get Zane Flores included in the short passes early on, play action passes, so that running game opens up early in the game. And you have to give Hicks these opportunities. Maybe take a bit of notes from the Tulsa gameplay, as they always give Dominic Richardson, their main running back, over 20 carries a game. He's averaging right now 20 carries a game. So you have to kind of take that and adjust to it as the game plan, because these two teams, they're kind of the same in the scheme, and you have to adjust to it. So get Zane included early so we have that opportunity of running the ball outside better than ever. And number 3, quarterback contained. That's right. Their starting quarterback, Kirk Francis, is unclear right now to be playing as a starter for this matchup. So they're probably going to be starting Baylor Hayes. He is a freshman quarterback, but what I have noticed is he loves to run the ball in the red zone. In the red zone, he's had at least 1 touchdown each game he's started for Tulsa. So we have to make sure to make him uncomfortable. He's a freshman. He's going to run the ball if he has the opportunity to. So let's not give him that opportunity. And now to the other side of the gridiron, Tulsa's keys to the game. Number 1, it's the same thing, ground and pound. Oklahoma State's opponents have averaged around 214 rushing yards a game. So you also have to take that into consideration, also knowing that your leader in the team is senior Dominic Richardson, your running back. You can't go away from that game plan. You have to stick to it, especially if you see Oklahoma State's rushing defense is struggling quite a bit. So you have to stick to it, and you have to give him the same amount of carries you've been giving him, because it's been working, and I'm pretty sure it is going to be working in this game. Number 2, trick plays. And I don't mean just any trick plays. Take it to special teams. Because why, Alyssa, Andrew? Because of one guy, and his name is Braylon Presley. That's right, Brennan Presley's little brother. I mean, he is going to be a key aspect in this game. I feel like if you have the opportunity to run those fake punts in the 4th and short situations, fake field goals, any opportunity you have to take extra points, you have to take it, especially with a guy as versatile as him and as fast. So give him the opportunity to shine. I mean, I'm pretty sure, and I know you are sure, that he's more than capable of doing those amount of plays. And number 3, pressure the quarterback, pressure Zane. I mean, against Oregon, you've seen it, I've seen it. He did not do well against the rush. Against the blitz, he averaged about 2 yards per passing. He had seven completions in 19 passing attempts and over 62 yards, I believe. So, I mean, if you put pressure into Zane, making him uncomfortable, this is only his second start in over 2 years. So he's not used to it yet. He's not used to being a starting quarterback in a game of this caliber, especially what some people would say to be a rivalry game. So just pressure him and make sure that he does not look uncomfortable. And that was for my keys to the game. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you so much to Gabo El Mago, right? One of the best analysts I've ever seen, especially on this show.
Has a lot of nicknames, too. It's pretty fun.
Absolutely. He's a man of many traits, many talents. And we're going to cut to break. But when we come back, we're going to get to one of the highly popular segments on this show, the Fan Pulse. We'll check and see what's going on social media. Before that, we'll take a break and be back here on the Big Game Pregame Show.
Ace in the Bowl salsa started many, many years ago. I was trying to find a recipe to take to a family gathering, and so I started messing around with different recipes, and I took a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and I came up with a salsa that is truly unique. Ace in the Bowl salsa is an olive oil-based salsa with tomatoes, green chilies, green onions, and black olives. There's no sugar added, it's gluten-free, low calorie, low carb, low fat, low sodium. So it's a very, very, very good alternative to any snack you may want. As of right now, I'm just looking to be in Oklahoma and having a successful business within the state. If my grandkids could ever take it over when they're old enough, that would be my dream.
Got a computer issue? Meet AB Computers, Stillwater's trusted experts in computer repairs. We understand how important your devices are to you. That's why we offer fast turnaround times, so you're never disconnected for long.
Hello, my name is Roger Smith. I'm the owner of AB Computers here in Stillwater. I offer excellent services for repairs, upgrades, custom build of systems. I do Mac and PC repair. I've got best prices on pretty much everything you can look for.
We service all types of computers, from PCs and gaming rigs to tablets and everything in between. Whatever your tech needs, AB Computers is your one-stop solution. Whether it's a locked screen, a sluggish system, or any other tech trouble, AB Computers has you covered. Visit us at 211 North Perkins Road, suite number 10, right next to Walmart. Our new location offers easy access and plenty of parking, making it more convenient than ever to get the expert help you need.
Welcome back into the Big Game Pregame Show. Andrew Dunham, Alyssa Brandon. And Alyssa, it's been a fun show so far, getting you set for Tulsa. But what we're going to do is we're going to send it to Addison McBride and also Julia Price, who are doing a little bit of trivia outside with the tailgaters.
The tailgate is wrapping up as Cowboy football prepares for kickoff. But before we go, we have something special. Julia, what are we doing?
Thank you, Addison. Yes, like she said, my name is Julia Price. I'm joined here at the tailgates by Kelsey Proctor,
Carson Proctor.
and we're going to do a quick little OSU trivia. Basically, the way this is going to work, best out of 5, winner wins, all right?
Bragging rights.
All right, so first one we have, OSU was originally founded under what name? Oklahoma A&M. Yes, ma'am, that is correct. Question number 2, what year did OSU football win a national championship? 1952? No, ma'am.
Close. 1954. Close.
1951. Let's go back a little bit.
1948. 45.
Yep,
There we have a winner. Okay, we're tied up. All right, Julia, what's next?
Then we have, what famous country singer graduated graduated from OSU in 1994?
Is Garth Brooks?
Oh,
I think that was
I
think I go first. I think we're all tied up. Okay.
All right, so this will be our tiebreaker. Ready? We have, what is the oldest standing building on campus?
Old Central.
Hey,
Is it me? Yes! All right, we'll let you ladies get to the football game. Thanks for joining us. Back to y'all in the studio. Go Pokes!
Thank you so much, Addison and Julia. That's a great job. I love watching that. That is so fun, especially with this weekend, it being Parents Weekend. So I'm sure I'm sure they've been seeing a lot of people more than usual with it being the festivities this weekend.
I was trying to get down the road in University, and it was just packed and crowded with families, with dads. It's Dad's Day out there, so everybody pretty hyped about this game.
Absolutely. Well, Alyssa, our social media correspondent, I could say, maybe. I mean, you're a woman of many talents. You're working the soccer game last night, Oklahoma State, Kansas. But what we're going to do is we're going to kind of look around the World Wide Web, and let's see what kind of the reactions are. Also, some injury news that you have from Marshall Scott as well.
Yeah, we can bring that injury news up first. Marshall Scott tweeted, and this was something that we kind of had already expected. Markel Samuel, one of our key guys on the offensive line that started week 1, he was called out the night before the Oregon game, which causes a lot of problems, as we all saw. And so he's going to be out for this game, too. So what do you think that does for this team?
Well, it's going to affect number 6 on the field. If you don't have your starting left tackle, obviously, you mentioned missed the Oregon game. They detected an injury in the hotel room 24 hours prior, so I know that was tough. But fortunately, with the bye week, you get extra practices. Maybe they get some left tackle, you get some rotations in.
Absolutely.
And maybe make things more easier on Zane Flores.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's going to be key. I mean, I think Gabo talked about it. Gabrielle talked about it. It's going to be key for this team to be able to run the ball. And the biggest part of that is having your offensive line that can make holes for you. And so I will be interested to see. I think it's Nuku Mafi filling in for him, so we'll see how he does there. But on to a brighter note and a good look at a pro poke we have in the NFL. We saw Ollie Gordon, the man, the myth, the legend, his first touchdown in the NFL last night as a Miami Dolphin.
Got a lot of run, too, especially in the running game. And the Dolphins, they got a lot of problems, but it looks like Ollie Gordon is not one of their problems. And I really wish I could pick him up in my waiver wire in fantasy, but he's not available, so I'm going to continue to search. But, yeah, it was an impressive performance. Dolphins, unfortunately, lose, but it's just really cool to see Ollie Gordon. After having 2 years here, of course, he won the Blitnikoff Award.
Absolutely.
Or the running back award.
Yeah, the
Doak Walker Award. I'm sorry,
No,
apologize.
you're
But, yeah, it's just really cool to see him out there. And a steal in the draft as well.
Absolutely. I mean, sixth round. I mean, he absolutely fell. But, I mean, we saw other running backs, too. Like Jalen Warren is now the starting back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just think it's really cool to see Oklahoma State is producing running backs. So
Don't forget Justice Hill as well with the Baltimore Ravens.
Absolutely, yeah. We got a lot of guys out there on offense, and hopefully maybe the next guy out there can be Trent Hallen, Caleb Hicks. I don't know the next guy that's going to make it to the NFL, but we shall see. Now, I got a little bit of more of a somber note. I have a guy responding to Buffalo OK State. Taylor York is saying, would Tulsa demolishing OK State tonight actually be a good thing for both sides, both teams in the long run? What do you think about that, Andy?
If Tulsa destroys Oklahoma State tonight?
If both teams, if Tulsa demolishes Oklahoma State, I think the idea was if Oklahoma State loses, maybe more attention will be put onto fixing the problems because this exposes the issue more.
Right. Well, I think the town of Stillwater might be, they'd have to send the National Guard out after people who are, upset at Mike Gundy, upset at the program. I know it hasn't been the greatest start to the year so far for the Pokes, but I think the best thing they can do is just try to come out and take care of business.
Absolutely, and I hope for their sake that it's a great showing for them, and we put a lot of points on the board. Speaking of putting a lot of points on the board, we're going to get to some score predictions, game predictions, but first, before we do that, we're going to go to break.
Thank you for coming to Stay and Play Pet Resort. This is where we can board your pet at any time for your convenience and make them feel at home. We have 5 different kennels for your pet. We have luxury suites that come with TV, camera, fireplace. The webcam is at your free. We have Kitty City where you can board your cat for multiple different prices. Stay and Play Pet Resort offers a free chauffeur service. If you go to Baker Animal Clinic, you can drop your pet off anywhere between 7:30 a.m. and no later than 8 a.m. Stay and Play Pet Resort offers a game day sports package. For $37, you can drop your dog off during the game day as early as 7:30 in the morning. Policy states you do not have to pick up your pet up until 1 hour after the game. At Stay and Play Pet Resort, we thrive to treat your best and give them the best at-home feeling.
My name's Kayla. I've been here since the beginning, so 4 years. Scratch is more focused on farm and mostly made in Oklahoma products, keeping it local. Sustainability is our biggest thing. That's one of the reasons why this place opened.
I've been the chef here at Scratch for 2.5 years. Started here as a line cook. Our food and drinks are a bit separate entities almost inside the restaurant. So the food is now up to 85% of the products we bring in are raised or grown locally. It's all based off of things that I grew up eating in southern Oklahoma, things my grandparents ate.
Fresh food, clean food, organic food, sustainability, that's all of our thing. From front of house to back of house, we're able to maintain both with freshness. But made in Oklahoma means we get it straight from the farms that are 20, 30 minutes, another little county away. We get it straight from them.
Welcome back into the Big Game pregame show. I'm Alyssa Brandon here with Andrew Dunham. Now we've had a lot of fun segments. We've joined in a lot of people. Now we're going to do a fun little game of this or that by our own very Carson Ward, who's leading that with our sports director from Ocala TV. What do you got, Carson?
All right, thanks Alyssa and Andrew over in the Big Game studio. We are here getting ready for the Tulsa game, and we're going to do a little game of this and that with our very own Zach Berger here. Zach, thank you for being on today. Just first of all, I want to ask you, if you had to pick a starter right now, both healthy, you taking Zane Flores or Hoss Haney?
You know, it's tough. I think we haven't seen too much of Zane quite yet. I think obviously it was kind of a tough hand, but I think I'll go Hoss as of right now, just in the sense of if his O-line or receivers can't keep up, he knows how to make a play by himself, where Zane's not kind of a key runner.
So you've seen both sides. You've seen Oklahoma State build through the transfer portal this year. We've seen them build through recruiting the last few years before the NIL and transfer portal started to get ramped up. Which team would you rather have? One that gets some talented players that have experience out of the portal, or a team that's built through recruiting and builds players up in the program for 3 or 4 years?
I think in the perfect world, it's definitely building up in the program. You know, that's how Gundy, I feel like, has always kind of done it, like you said. And I think that's what works best when you're not going to get the highest of recruits. But at the same time, being realistic, I know that the way we move in the future, guys staying at one place for 3 to 4 years has become more and more unrealistic, especially your top guys. So I think in a perfect world, we're building through recruits and staying here, but also you kind of have to know that that's just kind of unrealistic in today's age. So I think being in the portal now is helping learn for the time to come.
Okay, so now we have the Turnpike Classic on Friday night tonight. Would you rather play the Turnpike Classic every year or Bedlam every year?
That's tough. I think Turnpike's really good for just kind of getting things going. I mean, it's no secret where the history has lied with it, but I always like Bedlam. I think Bedlam's always legit, you know, even if it's a really tough battle. I prefer a tough battle than a kind of one-sided rivalry.
So tell me right now, would you rather have Des Bryant or would you rather have Justin Blackman on this football team?
Getting a legend. I'd say probably Justin Blackman. I think, you know, Dez was electric, don't get me wrong, but something about Justin Blackman, the way he could go up and get up a football, I think that's top tier with any quarterback you have.
All right, get one more question in, and then we're going to be good to go. So tell me right now, would you rather have a game at AT&T Stadium or at NRG Stadium if Oklahoma State was playing in a bowl game?
I mean, I'm a Houston guy myself, so I always got to pick NRG. I know Jerry's World's big, but NRG has my heart. So.
All right. Well, thank you to Zach Berger for being on this segment today. This has been This or That. I'm Carson Ward. He's Zach Berger. We're going to send it back to the studio with Alyssa and Andrew.
Well, I'm going to have a strong talking to my friend there, Zach Berger. He said he would choose NRG Stadium over Jerry's World AT&T Stadium. I think that's a little bit It's a little bit crazy.
He's
We
a
all
Houston
know.
guy, though, you know.
We all know that AT&T Stadium is the best stadium in the state of Texas.
Well, I agree with that.
Not debatable.
Maybe not the best football team, but
You are right there. You are right there. Well, we want to get into some game predictions, some score predictions. We know we have Oklahoma State versus Tulsa. This is some would say rivalry game. Gabrielle, what's your score prediction?
I mean, I think first of all, y'all have to give me my flowers because I think we didn't really get into it last home game against UT Martin, but I had the most accurate prediction out of all of our scores.
What was
you
your
can
prediction?
fact check it. My prediction was 28-17, and then the score ended up being 27-7. So just gonna leave that
Maybe
in the
we
air.
need to throw in some prize or something for this game.
But
I'll get you a cookie for next week. How about that?
Sounds good. But for my prediction for this game, I'm going to go with 26-17. It's going to be a little bit, similar to the UT Martin game, as you can see. I think y'all copied kind of my score predictions.
I think next time, let's not get together when we do our game predictions.
Andy,
wait, we didn't. This is completely, listen, America, this was unplanned.
It was.
I just want to let everybody know.
It was. I sent them a text in the group chat and I said, guys, I think some of us might be psychic over here. Andy's breaking into my Google Docs. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, it's almost like we share one, so I don't know.
But that's my score prediction. I think I'm going to be right, but I'm going to hand it off to you because I'm going to be nice, even though I deserve it.
Well, thank you very much. 27-17 is what I have, and I think it's going to be important for Oklahoma State to establish the run game. What's the philosophy that Mike Gundy always preaches when running the game? Running the ball, I should rather say. 4.5 yards per carry. And if they can get that, it'll be very interesting. Third downs are going to always be important. And, guys, you don't want to be punting the ball all over the place. And that's what Wes Paul has done so far. He's got 14 punts in the first 2 games, including 10 against that abysmal performance in Eugene. So establish the run
might
game.
win Heisman. Who knows?
Wes
Hey.
Paul?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Punter University, right?
Yeah.
You got Hudson Cock last year who got plenty of runs. So,
You can
Alyssa?
hand the ball off to
Sure,
me. Thank
absolutely.
you very much. I think I'm going to come in with the highest score here. I got OSU 28, Tulsa 17. I think the Zane train's going to get going. He's going to throw 2-3 touchdowns, and I see Tulsa not really being able to keep up with that. So
see the choo-choo? Maybe the choo-choo action?
Choo-choo.
Okay, we had the Hossa Payne, and now we got the Zane train. I love it.
He made me do it, guys. I didn't want to choo-choo.
Maybe we'll come in as a train next time.
Can't hurt a joke every once in a while.
You're right. I need to loosen up.
Well, we're going to head into the break, and we'll come back with some final predictions, and we will hand it off into the game broadcast as you're watching the Big Game pregame show on Ocali TV.
I'm Travis Taylor. I'm the general manager for the Hotel Indigo Tulsa Downtown. I have a real good understanding of the food scene in Tulsa, and I've loved to see the way it's evolved over the years, and I'm glad to be part of it.
My name's Kevin Kyle. I'm the executive chef. I started here, the idea was to do something local. Everything that we try to do has Oklahoma products.
Tulsa is a big oil boom when we were the oil capital in the early 1900s. How Route 66 put Tulsa on the map. And the menu around that was, well, what would an oil worker take out in their lunchbox? That's how Prospect kind of came from.
We never get crazy busy, so we can do a lot of different things with food. And we can do things like wine dinners and have local dinners. We have a private dining room that people can come.
I think being at the heart of the old Route 66 has kind of weighed into us getting a lot of different things brought in from different areas of the United States. When I taste something on our menu for the first time, the first thing I go is, that's Tulsa.
Pecans are staple to Oklahoma. In fact, many of our native pecans come from trees that are older than Oklahoma statehood.
My father's the one that got us started into the pecan picking. I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and we started off with one little mechanical picker that you pulled behind a four-wheeler. Then we'd go home at night and we'd clean them on a TV tray. I guess watching my dad work hard when we were young, and people started trusting him and getting more and more groves, we just kept growing.
Being a relatively new and fresh company, we get to sit in the same room with people who have been a part of the Oklahoma economy for decades.
It's opened a lot of doors. It's gave us quite a bit of exposure, and I think people, will take a small company like us a little more serious. We're just going to continue growing as long as our community lets us and our customers keep on buying, and we'll see where it takes us.
We head into the final frame of the big game pregame show. And Alyssa, you've done a very nice job steering the ship. Of course, we have Gabrielle as well, the magician, doing a great job as well, joining us. But Alyssa, Week 5 in college football, there's some interesting matchups. We'll start in the Big 12, and I'm kind of intrigued on this Utah-Texas Tech game.
Absolutely.
And Texas Tech going to Utah to play this game. But we were talking earlier in our production meeting. I really like Texas Tech this year. I think they could be a really good team.
Absolutely. I mean, I didn't write down my official rankings pre-season for the Big 12, but if I did, Texas Tech was going to be number 1 because they just far and away, like you were talking about resources early on in the show, far and away have more resources than everyone else does right now, have a lot of 5-star transfers, and that Utah-Texas Tech game is probably going to be a shootout.
Also, another thing, I know we have to mention it, but, Texas Tech, they can spend some money as well.
Yep.
A lot like the Oregon Ducks, what we saw a
played
couple
someone
weeks
like that,
ago.
right?
Yeah, hopefully Texas Tech doesn't see this and, they get offended. But Joey McGuire has done a really good job as well as their head coach. And Baron Morton is also a very good player. But next week, Baylor is coming into town. The folks from Waco will be down, and believe this is going to be, I hate to look ahead, but you have the matchup of Sawyer Robertson coming in. I know he's got some national attention, maybe a Heisman dark horse. I know he's put up a bunch of passing yards just because Baylor's kind of been playing from behind a lot of these games. I know they lost a tough game to Auburn, came back and beat SMU. What are your thoughts on Oregon? Or I'm sorry, Baylor really quick.
I mean, I don't want to talk about Oregon anymore. But
No, I think we're done.
Baylor, yes, they could be a team that could overtake this Oklahoma State team, really overpower them on the offensive side of the ball. Like I said about Texas Tech, they can score touchdowns. And I'm a little bit worried about Oklahoma State's defense being able to defend that at this point where we're at right now.
Well, I believe we have some live shots outside Boone Pickens Stadium in the tailgate area. Julia, Addison, and Audie have been doing a great job getting that.
We got a blackout there.
A blackout
I see
as
some
well.
black uniforms. Everyone's decked out. It looks pretty nice.
Hopefully, once we get inside the stadium, everybody gets the memo. But
And there's Gundy. Nice sunglasses there.
Absolutely.
Looking good. Well, you know who was also looking good was all of our crew outside of this.
Absolutely.
They really do their job well and set us up for success. So
we can't do it without them. Everybody up top, and of course our camera operators and the man that makes it happen, Mr. Max Andrews. Thank him very much for helping us be on the show. I believe that's it.
That's all. That is all we have tonight, and I'm looking at my clock. It is 6:30. You're about to get to kickoff, so we're going to hand it off. We're going to throw it to the ESPN broadcast. That is all for the Big Game pregame show, Oklahoma TV's official Oklahoma State football pregame show. Thank you, guys.
Are when folks drink our water is that they'll drink it for a few days and find out the difference. They'll start feeling better because there's been no chemical in our water. There's a list of good things that we have. We don't have any bad things in it. I see the future of Divine Water as being worldwide, which will bring outside dollars into the state. It means a lot to me because I started it, I guess, and our family started it.